we go. Here we are. I think mic is working. Hopefully it's enough. Excuse me. A good position. I know it's probably not perfect, but it's what I think works. I always think I pointed this way, but we're here. We're here doing our live stream. I'm going to make sure everything is working. We're going to do that. We're going to do... Oh, switch back to me. Okay. Is that working? Is that fine? I don't know. Everything's weird right now. I'm trying to get less of this. It's over here. A little bit more Bowser right there. And Luigi. You see him right there. But we're here. Another Friday. Another live stream. Another week of looking at toys. I am Justin the Zilla. Make sure you like, if you hit that like button if you enjoy the stream or the VOD if you're watching here in the future. And, be sure subscribe. Always helps out. It's like I was thinking about probably the goal is probably get to at least like 500 by the end of the year. That would be really cool to do. So that's the goal. Because we're at like 270 something, like 275, I believe. So that's pretty good. So thank y'all for the support for those who like and subscribe. And, also, as I always say, comment what you want to see on the channel, what you want to see video-wise, short-wise, live streams. Always appreciate it, even though I don't really get that many comments, but, Oh, excuse me. Always appreciate the support from y'all. But yeah. We're here with another week, another time to look at figures and toys and collectibles, as always we do. But as we do also, we do have a segment called Weekly Pickups. Even if we don't have anything, we just kind of just ramble on, But for this week, I don't have any pickups. I haven't really gone out shopping for figures. I just been getting regular groceries, being a regular human. Just being an adult. So, kind of just chilling. But I guess kind of an update really is going to be on the wall. I don't think I updated it. No, not since last week because I did it this week. So I got more command hooks, as y'all can see. So I finally kind of got my row of the 3 right there. It always looks so weird. But yeah, there's our 3. So we got Rat King, the Foot Soldier, and Slash there on that retro carded packaging. And those should be streamed sometime, hopefully in the near future. And then also I put up the Clone Wars Black Series Obi-Wan figure there from Rocket Comics. Shout out to my boys. So, it's just a nice looking box. It sits there and it kind of stands out. It's that white and all that green and purple, yellow and brown and red. So, nice little stand out there. A nice little update to the wall with the extra stuff and then having that Clone Wars. Just rearranging, but nothing very much. Really, pickup wise, I know most recently, if we want to talk like regular like figure news and stuff that's going on, of course, it's like as we talked about last week when they did the actual reveals, with the Marvel versus Capcom, it's like, or they call it the Gamerverse, kind of like 2-packs, and then the sets there as well. I think it was. So far, it's the Wolverine Silver Samurai 2-pack and the Psylocke and Thanos 2-pack. Those are those came out on pre-order like yesterday or today. I know most places are probably out for before those 2-packs who had them. I didn't really ever get close to even like touching them. So we'll kind of see. it's like mainly like the main thing. Yeah, with those figures, I would probably just want to get like just that Psylocke and Thanos. I think everyone will want to just because of the Psylocke. Price isn't a bad point, thankfully. I think it's like $60. So I'm like, you know what? That's not bad. I thought it would be like 70 or maybe even like towards 80 with all with all the tariffs and everything. So not too bad that it's only like $60. Before that Psylocke on Thanos 2-pack, even though everyone is probably going to get rid of that Thanos because we have a pretty good Thanos with the deluxe figure from a few years ago. So it's like perfect. It's like, yeah, I don't need Thanos. But definitely needed, like a Psylocke. It's like for those of us who don't even have one, like me, I don't even have a Psylocke in the entire collection. And it's like, and then for those who got like the previous versions, and even like during that time, like those regular versions, those older ones are just like, and those were like impossible to find then, and that's like it's still like scalping now, essentially. But a good update, when it comes to those, when it comes to the Marvel Legends. So nice to finally have those. Add some more characters to the X-Men shelf, especially with the Psylocke figure. I can't remember when the other things go on pre-order or just order. I guess I got no idea, so we'll have to see. But excited for those. And then I'm trying to think what else. Excuse me, I'm running out of breath already. I'm just like out of it. It's like the vibes have been kind of crazy today. Like I've been working all day. Today was a full day of working, just doing stuff. And this whole week has been just like my busy week. It's like I've had social plans, I've had work and social plans, and just trying to juggle it all. And then also setting up for this live stream, which takes like a whole day in itself. And so I basically actually just set up this whole, like my whole setup like 2 days ago. Yeah, because it would have been yesterday. It's like I had plans. So I was like, all right, we're just doing our thing. We're making it through. So this has been up for a bit. Kind of in the way, but we're here. We're doing our thing. And I'm pretty excited for the two figures that we're going to be looking at today. Of course, it's like as y'all have seen on the actual thumbnail and the title, we're looking at some good old Marvel Legends from Hasbro Pulse. Of course, that's like the main line that I collect. I mean, that's like majority of the collection. So, I don't know if I got very much else to say. We're already like 8 minutes and 45 seconds in. So if y'all here in the live chat got any questions or want to see anything before we get started, before we start kind of going through these figures and talking about them and doing our thing in a bit. So let me know if y'all on the live want to ask any questions or discuss anything before we get going on the stream. I do have to remember. Actually, while I'll figure out something, I gotta remember, I gotta get my little opening kit. So give me a minute. Oh. Do I want to mute my mic? I'll mute it. I'll be right back. Maybe I will or won't be on camera. I don't know. I don't know how you're gonna see me. I just don't want to be loud. But we're gonna mute up. There's our kit. Our little toolkit that I use every time whenever we open something. either the Exacto or the little snippers, but I always like having them in the little box. It's always cool. It's needed. It's needed. It's a needed little toolkit. So, but yeah. Another thing, we'll double check on the live chat. Nothing going on there. So yeah, remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Of course, YouTube. Of course, the YouTube gods or creators, whatever. We will, I guess, kind of rotate back over here a bit, and we're gonna see, because we're just gonna switch on over and get opening these figures. Hopefully that's not too bad. I do want to see, did they actually finally fix this issue? It seems like they actually have. Sorry if my thing's all hold up. Oh my god. This thing is like fully back here. I'll probably actually have to back up this light. We'll back up my camera here. Excuse me, because these are big packages, and I haven't really had the time to really set up for this properly. But there they are. Our Marvel Legends Secret Wars Beyonder and Titania. We'll just come down a little bit, because that's kind of better for filling it out. But we're going to move my cameras over. Megan, I'm not a famous YouTuber on the chat. You're good, Megan. Welcome back to the live stream. Glad you can make it. I don't have any famous YouTubers, though. Like, I never have no famous people. But I'm glad you're here. Megan says, I got the Nintendo Switch too. Awesome. Hope you're going to be enjoying that. I didn't pick it up myself. Like, it's just because price-wise, it's just a bit steep. In my opinion, I just don't really need it. Also, I'm not really a big gamer guy, I collect the figures, the toys, so kind of fills that void for me. It always has. I mean, you see the abundance of what I have and how long, for y'all who have just been those. But Megan says, yeah, you just collect these. Hey, we're true. But maybe one day, it's like I have been kind of but I have been kind of like debating on getting like a regular the first Nintendo Switch, because that's just been kind of just on the thought process, because I got like all my friends have a Nintendo Switch, so I've been like maybe it's finally time to get into a little bit of gaming, but I'm not very good at games anyways. So yeah, but Megan says you just collect teas with a big S and has a weird person drinking like coffee. Teas. I don't know what that means. But but I just collect the figures, as we can see here. So where this is a part of the Marvel Legends series, the Secret Wars line. So where, of course, this is based off of I believe, the very first Marvel toy line, which was the Secret Wars line that had Spider-Man, Iron Man, Doctor Doom, maybe Captain America. I can't remember that first thing. It's like, I know that Kang was in there as well, and probably like one other hero. And and I think it was like a Wolverine was like the main, like the first ones. So, all your things, and also probably Spider-Man as well. I forget if I mentioned him. But look at these guys. Cool little retro card. Kind of look here with the all imposing, kind of like big logos, and very kind of like simple, but very, I would say, very cool kind of look of what they got going on here. So yeah, but I will say, if y'all want to see a specific one open first, we'll go over them. We'll go over packaging and all the details with them. But these are a great little line. I do gotta say, love just a little bit. I do have to remember I have to actually look at these. But it's like, but with today, it's like we're looking at both of our villain figures, that are in the line. So we got Beyonder and Titania. But we do also have the black suit, the Spider-Man, but we're gonna hold off on him for just a little bit for a future live stream. Hopefully, do another duo in that case. But we'll have to kind of see. Oh, excuse me. Oh my god. I was thinking might start, I don't know who I would want to start with. I'm probably gonna say Titania. Maybe be, yeah, I don't know. It's like who, which figure I would really want to start with. Probably more towards Titania. Since Sense for me is like she's a character I'm not really that familiar with, and also it's like Beyonder is kind of like the guy who like created like the battle world that they go on, I believe so, and he's also like a god. Oh, like all right. So so it's kind of like that hierarchy. Like in my mindset, it's like when it comes to these two figures, but I think we're gonna open up Titania first. I think that's what we're gonna go with. So we might go ahead, move Beyonder into the Beyond. Back here, we're gonna get Titania right here in the middle. Get her or being all weird and tilted. There we go. Does that look better? It seems it looks better. But of course, with this camera, it's a little shaky. I don't want to reflect too much light, but also get a good angle. So I'm gonna hold this down just a little bit more. I know my camera, that's a decent angle. It's kind of flip-flop, but I think that's all right. This is an okay angle. It'll work for now. Of course, the packaging is huge, so so once we get rid of this packaging, it's like we'll go over, of course, everything and bring our camera closer. But just to show off the packaging, of course, it is based off of the original the Marvel the Secret Wars toy line. So where it had this blue kind of sky background that had that lightning kind of storm, kind of like throughout the background of the packaging, the Marvel Legends series Secret Wars, and like that gold kind of red shiny coloring, so it looks pretty cool. And then of course you have the name of the character with Titania there, and of course you have the bubble with the actual character there, and then they all come with this little shield. Specifically with the villains, they come with these square kind of like metal plated looking ones, and then with Titania comes with 2 hands, and then of course the little extra insert for 40 years, the 40th anniversary, and then you have your 4+ and your Hasbro logo there, your Marvel have your Marvel logo there, and your warning there. But then on the back have like your retro kind of style backing, from back then. So we got your Marvel logo, you have your Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars 40th the anniversary kind of logo there, kind of celebrating, I guess, either the specific toy line. I think it's the toy line because it has like the shield, so that kind of makes sense in my opinion. I don't know, or it's more like towards the comics. I assume it's for the actual toy line because that's what this whole thing's based off of. And then you have a nice little drawing of Titania, really cool, and how it has like that comic book kind of like look to it and very kind of like retro feeling. And then you have a little breakdown of Titania in all different languages, and we'll read this off. Titania: when Dr. Doom harnesses the Beyonder's power to create superhumans, Mary MacParron becomes Titania, whose immense strength and durability make her integral to the supervillain team. Okay, so she's made by Doom with the Beyonder's powers. So, kind of a byproduct of Beyonder, just like Secret Wars. And then here on the middle of the packaging, essentially, you have the entire wave on here. So, so of course, with your hero side, you got Spider-Man, you got Captain America, Iron Man, and Wolverine. And then, then just two, just for the villains that we're going to be looking at today, Titania and Beyonder. And Titania has a green kind of background there and has her shield there, so pretty cool. And then here at the bottom, have your little instructions on how to open the shield, to insert and then close it, then battle, combat, whatever. And then all your warnings and legalese and Hasbro, and you have your barcode there. I do want to kind of get that close up there, but just all your standard stuff. But a nice, clean packaging. Here it's very, of course it's very much like that retro style, but works pretty well. And I do like it very much. Of course, it's like with mine, if y'all have not seen. Oh, and also I do want to mention, I got this at my local GameStop. I got her and Beyonder there as well. So kind of like GameStop is definitely like more of like a more regular pickup place for figures, just because it's like they kind of hold more often. And then, it's like they do a pretty good job of keeping stock. It's kind of insane because the stores are kind of small, but they do pretty well. Yeah, but then I do want to mention, and I didn't even see this before, it's like when I bought the figure, but my whole packaging on this side is all like busted open. So as you can see, it's all kind of like cut up. I gotta be careful to not cut my hand open, but you can see how it's all kind of like broken. I guess it's like, during shipping, the actual like the box that these come with, it's like it kind of got banged, like on the side. It's like, where this was. So, it's like, but not really too much of a disappointment, at least for me. It's like if I was a mint-on card collector, I probably would not have bought this, but I don't really care about the actual bubble pieces. Like I do keep the card, but not the whole thing. But this might actually just make it easier, so I can just cut here on the side and then pull her right out. So we're gonna try that. Might move our camera down just a bit. Move this a little closer. Oh God, further down because our whole cut is right there, as you can see. We will get out our trusty I can get it. Our trusty and our safety cover off, the X-Acto blade. I don't know, like sponsor us at some point or something, but I don't have that many subscribers, so they wouldn't probably care. But anyways, gonna use this. We're gonna come here at the side. Usually it's like, but when I open these, I usually come from the bottom, as you can see. I think it's just the easiest and kind of cleanest, but maybe I should start going from the side. It might just be kind of worth it, but I always just have to kind of be careful. I don't want to cut myself or cut anything really around. We're gonna try to get this on camera if we are able, and if I don't have too much freaking dust everywhere, bro. You can kind of see how it's, oh God, to really kind of dig in to get it. I want to kind of avoid. We got it pretty all right there. And here. Let's see. You always just want to kind of take my time with these. Be careful not to cut or to damage the packaging. At least too much. I did get a little bit right there. Corner, but we're going to see if we can get this out. Look at that. super easy. And we don't even have to touch the Hasbro paper, but we always show that off. But we throw this away anyways. But it's pretty secure in there. You can see all empty now. But you know, it's like, but I probably will be keeping this box in any case. Let me get this freaking Hasbro paper so I can throw it away. But there it is, our typical Hasbro. Get out of here, Hasbro. I know it's a toy. I know I shouldn't put it in my mouth and try to eat it. Excuse me. You know, but not, yeah, but nice little packaging. I'll probably just cut out this. Yeah, kind of, yeah, like yeah, this plastic kind of housing here. I always just cut this out, and then I just keep the actual card back because they're always done pretty well. So, but yeah, get this out of here. Then we'll get our Zacto out of here as well. Get it going. And then camera down. See how she's gonna fit. And there she is. There is our Titania in all of her plastic housing and glory. Looking pretty cool. First, I think we'll get this little extra shield piece. Is this okay? It's like, so this is a cardboard piece. So this is the Celebrating the Marvel's Superheroes Secret Wars, the 40th anniversary logo. Excuse me for this. Keep stuttering. And then it shows you little instructions on how to put it in there. So very nice. And has 4 little tabs, and it's just a square, just a little extra logo, but it's nice. I like having that. Not a whole lot, but pretty good. And then do we want to do? Okay, first we're just gonna go from up, down, up. And then she also has extra pair of kind of grip and holding hands. Kind of, yeah, more like C-grip hands, kind of gripping. And they do have a little bit of the longer nails and bigger hands, so these do look like brand new hands. But they're very well done and very nicely sculpted. So, yeah, pretty nice. And of course, they have in and out hinges. They do not have the up and down, because that just kind of makes sense for these type of figures. And then, of course, we have her actual shield. So where, I guess in the original toy line, all the villains had a shield like this, where it was all square and kind of, and had like a metal kind of motif to it. It's like, but this, oh yeah, because these have the little wrist peg there, and then also, yeah, the actual peg there, and then the kind of like the grip on there. Plastic is still kind of a little sturdy. I don't think that this is really gonna fit too well. It's like, oh, her wrists are kind of small, but in any case, never really want to risk yeah, breaking these. So usually it's just gonna hold it, but she can't really hold it unless she has a thing on her back. No hole on the back, so she can't even like use that. Oh, she'll just have to have it like around her wrist. But in any case, this is already comes packed in. Yeah, like with this little like this, yeah, this image changer, yeah, kind of thing here. So where you have her with the full mask and everything, and then you can have her without it, as you can see. So pretty cool. Of course, you can get it like kind of cleaner. There we go. It's like a little bit of purple, but it kind of fades on there. So it's a nice effect. Yeah, for her, like that the image doesn't really change too much. It's more of just about having that mask there. But nice artwork in any case. I really do like it a lot. It's very, 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 very well done. But we'll go ahead and show off a little gimmick like this. So where you pull this little tab here at the top, and this just has that same shape as the Secret Wars logo there, I assume. Nope, and it's just blank on this one. It doesn't have the same instructions that come on this. But this also is kind of like a shinier kind of like material, so kind of like solid. And this, it is more of like and this is actual like a plastic instead of a cardboard piece here, which makes more sense. But then you can see how this slots right in there. You can just peg that, so you have a peg right there with a hole at the top, and you have two of them right there to kind of lock in. Pretty good. And it looks pretty solid, but I think it's like, just like with everyone else. And I think with a lot of people, and maybe not all, so I can't really say for sure, but I think it's just going to be this, because it just makes sense, because all of them do that anyway. So, it's a nice little effect piece to have. It's like, even though it's like this probably won't really be going on the shelf with her, I don't even know if I can even fit her on the shelf. That's my main thing. As always, even though I have, even though but even though it's like I want to get more villains, I actually don't have a dedicated space. They're more kind of in storage right now. Well, they've been in storage like for a while. But having a dedicated, specifically a Marvel bad guy shelf is kind of a need at some point, and she's just a really cool figure, and I just wanted to get her. Even though the fact that it won't really work, but she's going to be going in a thing, or I'll try to get her into the shelf, because I do have a little section, that does have my villains, but it's a lot less than the heroes, if I'll be honest. It's only like a group of like 10 or 12 of them compared to like my 30 or 40 that surround them that are all heroes. Of course, I got like my bigger guys who are like bad guys, like Thanos and MODOK and the Asgardian armor thing, and then what is it? The big green dude. What's his name? I can't remember what his name is. So but he's one of like those retro. It's like, but where he has the Hawkeye mask and has Thor's hammer and Captain America's shield, and he looks like Captain America basically, but with a mask. He's just a giant green cap, essentially. What is his freaking name? I can't remember, but he was made by AIM and MODOK or whatever, and he looks pretty cool on the shelf. It makes me want a giant man in that scale, even though we'll probably never get that. Probably never again. I mean, it's like they did give us this, so maybe there's a chance, but they wouldn't make a whole new mold just for that, unless they shrink down like the HasLab, or even like kind of like raise up their recent the Marvel Legends Spider-Man. But hopefully at some point, like we'll get an actual like a giant man, kind of like 12-inch figure, because that's what I want, because it'll fit on my shelf at least. Because I didn't pick up the HasLab, nor do I have even remotely the space to fit that HasLab, despite it looking like perfect and kind of actually being what I think it's like 24 inches, so it's about like twice the size of this. Oh yeah, his name is Super Adaptoid. Excuse me. Yeah, it's like he'd be twice the size of the Super Adaptoid figure, but I honestly just want one in a 12-inch scale, because it would just be nice. Maybe like a Hot Toys or something, do something. Because do they do comic figures in 12-inch scale? I can't remember if they do or not. It's like, of course, probably style-wise, it wouldn't really match too much with the Legends, because it would probably have actual, like it uses like actual like fabric and everything. But maybe. Or maybe I just gotta get like a custom of some kind. But I just want an actual giant man instead of just like an Ant-Man. But in any case, I'm rambling on. But we're gonna get her out. And Titania, there's her plastic housing. One last time. Goes away. I gotta be more careful about that. Not knock over my lights. Cool. But there she is, and we're gonna get her. Oh, I didn't notice that she has like a shiny spot in that coat, and also does have a lot of purple on that neck there. But we can maybe fix that at a later point. But there's our Titania. Let me try to get her centered here because I do want to get a little close up on this head sculpt. But look at that. Looking so kind of mean. Really, really cool. Of course, here on camera, I think you can tell a little bit of the face printing. Like here, especially on the eyes and probably on the lips. But, you know, I think overall, this is definitely like one of like their better, like their female head sculpts. It feels very clean, and you can definitely tell that the mask is actually like sculpted in there. And it's like, and how they did like the shine on it is actually pretty well done. It kind of actually has more of like an actual like a helmet version instead of like yeah, kind of sheen to it instead of like just like a regular mask. I don't know if that's kind of because on the artwork, as you can see, I think it just looks like fabric. I think it's just fabric on there, but that still looks really, really cool. And then the eyes are like super blue, and then with the teeth painted in very, very well. And I think it's actually on sculpt pretty perfectly. She could be looking probably a little bit more to the front of her face, but she's looking kind of to the side a bit. But you know what? It's like this actually looks pretty good. And I do like the hair too. The hair is a nice sculpt. Is kind of like just basic and kind of down and kind of floating a bit, but you know, that's kind of expected with this kind of figure. So yeah. And then of course, with the rest of the costume, you have the bare neck up there, with the purple that's underneath. Here on the inside with the light purple that is actually supposed to be skin, but they of course painted it, kind of censor it. But I know it's like I have seen videos of guys who like acetone off this paint, and it actually looks way better that way because it makes sense because you have the bare legs kind of showing there. It's like, and then you have the hands, and then you have the neck. So it's like it kind of makes sense to have that all kind of match up a bit more, even though I don't know even if this light purple really goes with anything else on this figure, because it would have been nice maybe if they did like a little like a shell like a cell shading kind of thing, where they would have that light purple kind of all around. But I guess it's like, it's like I understand why they have to do this, but in any case, I'm probably gonna do the same too. It's like, it's just that the only thing is like you'll have to redo that part there with actual paint instead of just removing the paint here on the actual chest area. But, it's like, but sculpt wise, it's like it's all there. It's like the costume actually has sculpted lines there. Yeah, like to actually have that detail to show that it is an actual costume. That she's wearing, and then even has that at the down to the belt where that whole belt is sculpted on there. So that's very nice. So, my gold paint does kind of bleed, and also you can also see on the chest how that skin tone is actually already starting to kind of fade out. Like that section of the paint was not there that thoroughly, so it might be away. And then I even do have some little paint splotches there on the neck, so it might be even just another excuse just to clean up this figure a little bit more with these little paint defects. But then on the arms, of course, all purple and all pinless as well, but you have these little spikes there on both sides of her arms. I think she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she has 6 on each side. Also, mine does have a weird little defect right there on the elbow, but that doesn't actually hinder anything. Look at that range. Spoilers, but oh my god, it's insane. And then of course you have that gold belt, as we were talking about before. It kind of has like a V kind of shape. That's coming up at the front, but it kind of thins out at the back there. But Nice little look there. And then, of course, we have the bare thighs there. And how they actually have it painted up at the bottom of the lower, like of the lower torso piece that has just the bare, kind of thighs there. It's like, but very, but very strong. It's like, because this is like a bigger female figure, I think, than we're used to. I'll have to get figures in comparison to just see, but it's like, but you can tell, she is a little bit tall. Yeah, and then of course getting down to her boots that go past her knees, which is an insane look. So they're kind of opened at the top, but then they taper down here to just regular kind of shoes. And mine's got like all kinds of silver paint all over. Oh my, that is not very good. I should have looked. Yeah, I should have looked way more carefully. But I was like, you know what? It's the last Titania. I just might as well. I probably just shouldn't have. But but we can clean this up a bit, hopefully. But that kind of sucks. So points out for that. But it is pinless, so that is a nice little thing, and it has these same, kind of spikes. But overall, it's like the other leg looks perfectly clean. It's like, and the paint overall isn't really that bad. It's just mainly, just right there. And it's like just where like the skin is exposed, and then with the gold there. But that's just really bad. Like in that silver, that is insane amount of paint extra. Yeah, that got through in quality. But I still think she looks pretty cool. I don't really mind it too much, and I think these are new feet as well, or they're just reuse. 2024 is China. I don't know, but a really neat figure. Has a cool design. I do like the design overall. I think it works pretty well. And this is a character I didn't even really know existed, I'll be honest, before they announced until like after that they announced it. I was like, oh, well, that's a cool character. Who is that? Oh, she was in Secret Wars. I guess that's cool. And she was made but by Doctor Doom. Too shabby. We can get her looking a little tough there. Or more basic kind of stance, nothing really crazy. I don't even know if that's even a good pose or not. That's just a good standing pose. Oh, the lines matching up. That doesn't match up. Yeah, but she's pretty cool. Nice little figure. And then if we want to go over articulation, I think that there's just a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck, so don't really get much range. You can go down that far, go up only about that far, basically just looking forward, because she has all that long hair at the back. But it does, it's like it is a little more open on the sides though, so you can kind of tilt side to side. You can rotate a bit. It's just more restrictions with that hair as well. But you can get kind of halfway if you're able to kind of finagle. It's mainly on the other side. You gotta kind of push it. But in any case, not too bad, and has a look around, but could be better, especially in the forward and back, because I feel like she should be kind of like, I don't know. It's like there's feel like and I feel like the hair kind of sits like too far from her body, even though like I guess it actually makes sense to be like this, but I feel like it should be like, I don't know. I feel like it should just look more stylized like that, where it's more like a big kind of like a ball of hair, like a big, yeah, kind of like, yeah, not afro, but if I look at even like the art, excuse me, on the actual box, that's kind of like what I think of the hair. It's more of like a mane, if you understand. It's kind of like, it's more kind of like fuller. It's more kind of like, it feels more like rounder and fluffier. And this does kind of get that effect, but it's parted down the middle here and then kind of flows back here. And yeah, so it's not really perfect for what they're trying to, I would say, accurately like depict. But I do actually like this. I think that she looks pretty cool. I feel like it's a more regular kind of version of this character. And she looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, and she also comes packed in with these two fisted hands. So yeah, but with articulation, continuing, you do have your shoulder hinge. It goes up that far. Pretty good. And then of course has a full rotation there. As your biceps swivel, your double jointed elbow that goes up basically all the way, which is insane for a female figure. So yes, and then each of the hands are all hinged in and out. Rotate there, and then at the torso, you just have another ball joint in there, so you hinge back about that far, hinge forward, about that far. You can kind of see a little bit better with that range there. Not too bad, but then you do get a lot of tilting from side to side, and then, of course, full 360 as always. But then here are the thighs, kick up about that far, and you do not actually have a thigh cut here. You do have a little bit of rotation there. I didn't even think about that, but you can kick back that much. And did we do kick forward? Well, she can do all the way, which is insane. And she can even kick out like better, yeah, than some Spider-Mans. But I think they have a hidden, yeah, they do have a kind of like a mid or kind of like upper knee kind of swivel here. So that kind of hides that articulation point. And it does look all right with the legs. I don't think it really breaks up that proportion too much. It really just makes your thighs kind of stand out more, to be honest. So a nice little detail there, and that's on both boots there. But then you do have your double jointed elbow, knee. That's the elbow. This is the knee, but where it's pinless, so you can go up that far. It does hit the actual rim of the boot, but that makes sense there because it's an actual physical thing. So not too bad, and very good range for the legs in any case. So very cool. But then at the feet, hinge. Well, we'll do our nice leg. You are in trouble. But on our, yeah, but with our shoes, kick back, kind of feet forward that far. And of course, you got the ankle rocker pivot a little tight. Kind of on these female figures, they're always a little tighter than the guys. I don't know what it is, but that's always like a consistent thing when it comes to the legends. But she still stands pretty securely, as we've been seeing. But we're going to try to get her into a couple poses. I'll do her like a you do push it, you do get a little bit of gap there. And do a no. How about a where she's kind of like towering over. Like a front forward kind of tower. Or I guess like just kind of, I don't know. It is kind of like a weird kind of like character because I'm not really like that familiar with how she really appears in the actual comics. I'm gonna get her behind camera. Excuse me. Try to see. Maybe even if we do switch out the hands. She could give her both of her open hands, and that kind of gives her, like where she's kind of like I would think like a brawler type for sure. Like just like it's like just a powerhouse, even if a lady. Kind of like just like that. Full on. Like lumbering over. I don't know how can we get a good. There we go. Is that something? Or just like do like that. Just get her at her highest, literally. And then see if she can actually stand or not. Hell yeah. Ankles aren't the greatest on the women. Excuse me as I struggle with this. I just want to make this look good for camera. It's like that, but I don't want her like hunching over the whole time because that kind of doesn't get her at her height. But we can. Okay, we'll give her one fist at least. I guess we can just have her standing like that. She's just like really mean. I don't know. They're not really like the best at like posing like the female figures. Of course, they're kind of more limited. But having this one too, that has a lot, yeah, that has a lot of like, yeah, like articulation. Something I just can't really grasp onto. We're gonna try to. I guess we'll give her 2 fists again. Sorry, I'm just trying to experiment. Actually, see how I want to get this figure, especially when it comes to comparison. But I don't want to have it. That is actually pretty good. That's not too bad. Well, look at that. I think that's actually not too bad. It's not the greatest angle for her, but that's still pretty good. I do actually like that. And then the head sculpt actually looks pretty decent on there. A more action pose just would have been fine to, fine to stick with, but if you wanted to kind of be at her highest posing and looking pretty cool. Honestly, not too bad. Not a bad figure at all. Pretty nice. Really well made. Yeah, I think that'll be it for her right now. A pretty solid figure, has nice articulation. The actual sculpt is actually pretty well done. Even if I don't really think that the head sculptor really matches with what they're supposed to be representing, but in any case, this figure is still pretty good, even despite also, yeah, the kind of like many paint defects that I didn't notice, especially there on the leg with the silver. But still a really fun figure that just looks so cool. A little closer. There we are. Look at that. Such a badass. Such a badass figure. But yeah, I think we'll kind of move her to the side. Back here. Look how cool she looks. She looks so cool in that corner, though. You can tell that she's like all powerful. It's like so cool. I don't even know like who this character is, but you know, like it's cool to have. Okay, like I keep saying cool, but yeah, it's nice having like a different, like a female kind of character, one that at least for me is more, like, yeah, kind of like obscured, yeah, like one I don't really know too much about. So it's nice to kind of like, I don't know, just have like a brand new character kind of like be introduced to me as a figure, and I think it actually looks pretty cool. It's not too bad, not too bad. But then we'll moving on to our last figure for the night. We'll try to get him in the frame. Oh my god, the all right, to go up for this. Yeah, yeah, just like how we had to do with her. And she even looks taller there. She's about the size of MJ just by standing up there, being on a level lower. That's kind of crazy. Okay, we're gonna see comparisons later, but here is our Beyonder figure here. Hopefully this isn't too bad. How do we do it? Forget how I did it before where it didn't even have the thing. It's like way up here. Is it really? I guess so. All the way up. Yeah. Or we can just do that, I guess. Because we will be showing off of this. So here's our Marvel Legends series Secret Wars packaging with the same details as the Titania figure, but now it has Marvel's Beyonder. They gotta say Marvel's, I guess, because of copyright stuff or whatever. But you have your warning label, Marvel logo. You have the actual figure here with all of his really cool accessories and his little shield thing. So all that all clear and retro style packaging. Love it. And he's got the all white. So cool. And then your 4 Plus Hasbro logo on the back, that same retro style packaging, but with the different character, like a specific kind of like area here. So where you have the Beyonder little image there, he's using some magic, and then they're doing like god power stuff, and then it's Marvel's Beyonder with his little bio in different languages right there, and then here we'll read this. After pitting the greatest superheroes and supervillains against each other, the Beyonder attempts to discover his humanity, and in the process becomes an all-powerful, if naive, god. What a bio! And then have the same, kind of setup here for all of our line characters. And then with Beyonder, he's got a yellow brown there at the very end. And he is our last villain for the wave. So we got both of the villains that are out so far in this first wave. And then, of course, has the little shield instructions and replacing the plates and how to close it. So, very nice. And do we want to try? I don't know if I want to try to go from the side again. I might just try going from the bottom as we usually do, because it usually feels a little bit more better in my eyes. But we might just try the side just to see, just for the theory, the figure theory. Okay. So here's our trusty X-Acto blade. I don't know how I'm really we're gonna do it safely. We're gonna bring this down quite a bit. You about there. Oh, not that close. So either want to do how I want to do it. Usually I just go from the bottom because you have a little opening usually here, so you can kind of guide yourself a little bit easier. But kind of interested in trying out this side method. So we might just do that. So might keep it kind of clean. Might be okay. I mean, it worked on the Titania, but it must work here at least a bit. Even if we have to kind of cut through. All right. About that far. We're trying to get it. We're trying to be careful here too. Probably shouldn't even be cutting at myself. I should be cutting from the bottom. I just don't want to stab anything. This is not a handy precision. I do got shaky hands. Very shaky hands, especially on camera. It may not look shaky, but this is like the worst. But this is kind of like what that Titania packaging looks like. So honestly, I'm not too concerned for it. That is dangerous. Don't do what I do. Do not try this at home. Have an adult do this. But I am an adult. You're watching the show. Okay, where am I? Like right there. Okay. Okay. So we might even go. I probably should have been using this more. We're going to go for our snippers. Get in there if we can. I'll go with the guide. If I'm able. I don't think I. Excuse me as I struggle, because I'm an idiot. And not being really precise about this. There we go. There we go. There, then we gotta do the top. Here, yeah, do not try this at home. Get an adult. Do this, get a supervisor. Look up a better tutorial. Because I'm not a tutorial man. I'm just a player. Playing with toys. Alright. Come on. Oh. Woo. Took some doing, but got it out, got our Hasbro paper away. Thing away. Hold on, we're gonna take a water break for a second. I don't think anything fell, did it? No. I'm okay. A little closer to our camera here, if y'all excuse me. I'll move all of this up. There's our Beyonder. He's centered. Excuse me. It's just the same. There we go. That look all right? I think that looks all right. Yeah, but there's our Beyonder figure. All his plastic glory. I guess we'll go the same route that we did before. We'll go down, up. We'll go left with the figure. So yeah, of course, comes with the same piece that came with Titania. It's the cardboard Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars 40, where they're celebrating that with that logo, with this line, and has the instructions. on there and has that same exact shape there. Then there, here, and then Beyonder also comes with two kind of splayed out hands. Pretty nice. I think these ones that we have definitely seen many times before, but they work. They're nice hands and they're pretty actually refined. Yeah, like the mold is kind of actually doing actually pretty decently now. They're getting like some good details out of their, even like their hands and stuff. Even though it's very basic, but it still works. It's a nice sculpt. And then have your shield piece here with the Beyonder image changers. So we have kind of him, I guess. It's kind of like his god mode, I guess, where he's kind of like, yeah, where like he looks like the sun covered, yeah, like in like crackles. But then it's like he has like the Kirby crackle effect thing going on there. And then you have him in his, how is that better? Kind of hard to see, but there he is in his human form. Yeah, that he's depicted as the figure with the white collar, but still has like that Kirby crackles around him with the circles. But yeah, but this kind of only that angle. Maybe if we put it up, there you go, kind of straight on. Yes, as close as I can kind of get right now, but pretty good and a nice little art there. But nice. That kind of looks better there. It is very like yeah, it is like just very weird like how that effect works, especially when you can get it timed perfectly. It's so cool. I do like these little things. You do it like a, you get that. That's so cool. See, now I want this Beyonder and that to have like his two forms. That's so cool. All right. A nice little shield, of course, but has the same details there, and of course can, as we saw before, can open the top here. There's two pegs there. You can get it from the side a bit to kind of help, but you do want to go from the top. There we go. And so this piece, actual like a plastic kind of material piece here. And then you can switch out the Secret Wars 40th logo in there. There that is. Shabby, but you know. We're going to stick with our characters in there because it's just a cooler effect. A cooler little design that you get. But it's nice that they give us that option. People want to display these and have them on there. Want to have that retro kind of version, but then also have something new. It's just so good. It's a very well made amount of little bits and accessories. Of course, we can see all my handiwork coming through. I'm nearly cutting through this stuff. Eventually, good thing I don't think I actually damaged anything. Believe it or not, I think it's like this stuff's so skinny. Okay, that's good. We didn't damage nothing. which is good, especially on the figure. But then he comes with an extra accessory here, which is this little, like this planet. It's like this fire world thing that's like has like little like islands and stuff, like little like wood pieces and rocks and just flames and some greenery. Sorry, that's my thumb. Little like dirt patches here and there, or like sand or something, but like yeah, all this fire debris. So that's cool. It's like it's a little like a earth that I guess he's kind of like working on, or just like, or this is kind of like the battle world or whatever. It probably wasn't. I don't think it was. But it's just a nice little thing, and it's actually kind of nice to like just like fidget with all like the little things. But it's really cool to see all those details on there. Even have like little like formations there. That's cool with the rocks. Nice. But then finally get our actual figure out. Always do legs first. Do the other leg. And then, there we go. There he is. We're gonna, there's this plastic housing out of here. Man. Okay. Hold. If I can get this guy to stand, we can get quickly to talk about him. But he's got some feet issues, some knee issues. I don't know. It's definitely a foot issue. All right. Okay. Get him down a bit. Y'all can see him. It's kind of weird that I can't move my little thing here. Yeah, because I have like my profile stuff all right here. So I gotta do it over here to see this beautiful face. But look at this figure. Get him right dead center though. Look at that. That's an awesome, awesome head sculpt, honestly. Actually done really well. Painted pretty far forward. Of course, it is, it gives their face printing tech. But I do like it, especially kind of like that angle and that angle. Actually, really, really nicely done. And I like the black curly hair. That's all around. Super nice sculpt. A lot of detail there. Now it's kind of getting blown out. Look at that. There's like so much going on here. And he has that wicked smile with those pointed eyebrows. But then with the actual costume here, you do have the kind of like an actual like a chest piece there. I don't know if it's a whole chest. Doesn't look like it. I think it's just like here, maybe like the shoulders, or even like less than that. I don't know. But you do have a little chest area there that's exposed, unlike that, but you know, it actually makes sense for them to kind of match there because they'll be two villains, and so they got their clothes a little bit more revealed because they don't really care. They're like, whatever, we're bad guys. Yeah, yeah, we'll dress however we want because we're comfortable or whatever because we're bad people. But in any case, has kind of like a um, I guess I don't know. I would say a jumpsuit. It's kind of like a disco outfit in my eyes. Yeah, it has like the big collar, all like baggy clothing, but nice kind of like pants there. Yeah. It's like a Velcro kind of belt there, a nice baggy feet, and some pretty good shoes. I think that this is the mainly the Dormammu slash kind of like Red Skull body with the arms and legs. I don't know about the actual crotch piece, but the overlay, of course, is all new. But it looks pretty cool. I do like it. I think it just works for this character. I think it's just very well sculpted, and the pieces that they use are pretty much like the yeah, it's like they're like the perfect pieces to use for this. So yeah, super nice. Love all of this. Love all this detailing here, but we'll probably go over articulation. He also has a dumbbell joint at the head, so he looks up about that far and looks down not that far. Not too bad. Tilts side to side, then does rotation there. Kind of can do a whole hoop to hoop or whatever. I don't know. And then at the shoulders, hinges up about that far, hinges down, comes around. Does kind of get a little stuck on that jacket kind of piece there, but you can kind of push through. You can kind of tell that the whites are slightly different. Like these are more kind of like a bluer color here. It's more of like the actual middle section is more of like a grayish kind of white. But you know, it's like if you get this like under like shadows and everything, it's like you don't even like see it from back here. You don't even like notice it. So it still looks pretty good. And even here on camera, it looks great. But then at the arms, you have your bicep swivel, your double jointed pinless elbows. I can get it. Of course, I think with these earlier ones, they kind of got more stuck. There we go. Not too bad. Not a whole lot, but not too bad at all. Pretty good. And then, of course, with each of the hands, they rotate, they hinge in, out, out, and rotation. So, not too bad. Then at the torso, I think it's just a ball. I think it's what is it? Yeah, a dumbbell joint. I think in there. Yeah, it's just really in there. You can kind of see there, but you can see the rod with a ball at the top and then a ball at the bottom into the torso. So you can kind of crunch forward about that far, crunch back not that far, not too bad. Go side to side, which they can do pretty well, and then do a full rotation, hula hoop around. Gives you a lot of pretty all right posability. And then at the legs, kick forward, Not that far, not too bad. Back. Oh, excuse me, I keep hitting my camera. Back that far, and then kick out. Pretty well. You can nearly do the Glen Webb. As long as he can go with both feet flat on the ground. And looking up all the way and at the back. Maybe being like, you're doing everything. You're just doing an awesome T-pose. It's like all he's doing. It's so good though. Always miss Glen Webb. Cool. So perfect. The perfect reviewer. Bro, passed all the live chats. So cool. But yeah. Then we'll get to our thigh cut here. Pretty tight. A little bit scary. But then you have your double jointed knees here. Pretty well done. Oh yeah, and then they're also pinless too. You don't have a boot swivel, but you have a foot hinge there, so hinges forward that far, hinges back that far. That has your ankle rocker pivot, which is always the best with these guys. A little bit stiff out of packaging, but if you start using them, it's not too bad. We can have them I would think. He's kind of like, yes. Fight. Everyone fight. I want to see everyone fight. Or whatever. Oh no. I want to think. Okay, we'll do him. Okay. Try him with the hands. Then we'll get him. All right, so we'll get him at the planet thing. I get him holding it. I don't really want to. Excuse me, taking a water break there, but now we're back. Okay. So there's the little planet there. Very nice, pretty cool. It's actually pretty well made. I'm Yeah, I'm honestly surprised actually how well the sculpt is actually done here. I kind of wish I had like more kind of like colors to it, but I do like it. Could even do where he's kind of like looking at what he's creating, could even do more kind of like floating in the hands kind of pose. That's actually pretty nice. It kind of looks like it's floating in his hand. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. Oh, yeah, that's the pose. Yeah, that's the one. Look at that. It's so cool. That's actually really nice. Okay. Well, I guess that's how he's forever going to be. Let's be honest. I mean, that's so perfect. That's so cool. Nice. Okay. Then I guess we'll move him back now. Because I guess we're done with him. We've looked at everything with him, and now we got him all posed up already. Time flies fast. Yeah. But I guess we'll get them just side by side, and we can compare everything with them. But yeah, but this Beyonder looks like perfect. I don't know what really else to say about it. I think that the parts that they use and then how the articulation still kind of works, but you can still get a nice dynamic pose, even if it's a little bit simpler like this. But I think that this works really well. And he's not even like having it on his chest. He's literally holding it. It's literally not touching him. So it's even kind of better. So it's kind of looks like it's more floating there. That's very nice. Then you have your Titania. You can actually see a little bit more of the size difference here. So how she is much taller than him there. So not too bad. Pretty good. And then do want to compare both of their both of yeah, their shield pieces. So where you have their different forms there. So they're powered up, powered down, powered up, powered down, powered up, powered down, powered up, powered down. So very cool. Very nice. They're actually over here. Powered up, powered down. Well, powered up, powered, yeah. Which is like a weird angle. Powered up, powered down. Weird little effect. Okay, there we go. I like that effect. Yeah, which is pretty cool. Pretty nice. All right, so we'll put pieces back there. Very cool. They're just gonna sit right there, I guess, for now. Yeah, we'll clear it out later. But look at those. Really cool figures. Well, we can actually do. What am I doing? This is for the picture. And that can work, and that can work. Not too bad. We'll get her. But a nice little assortment of hands. It's nice to have those. But yeah, really, really cool. A nice little assortment, a little pairing of unique villains to add to the shelf. With Titania being a brand new kind of like known one, at least for me. I think it's done pretty well. I don't think like all of like the actual like the head sculpt is really that accurate to what the art that they're supposed to do, but I think it still works pretty well. It's very nicely sculpted in any case and painted pretty well. The hair is a little kind of generic, yeah, with the front part and all the art. She doesn't really have that. It's more kind of like flowing to the side a little more. But I get it if they have to kind of differentiate it a little bit more and get it to more forming to the actual body. But you know, maybe some more sculpting kind of like consideration just would have helped with that. But it still looks pretty good. And I like all the costume details, even though we do get the skin covered up on the chest, even though this guy has an exposed chest too. Of course, you don't really see it here, but you know, he's got some pecs. They're right there, front and center. Hers, you know, just show like that same amount essentially on her body, but she's a bigger lady, so it's more kind of, I know, exposing, but that's what that costume was. That's what's accurate. And honestly, actually kind of works better with the costume because it makes sense with the thighs being bare. You got the top half and you got the bottom half, even though like you have like the neck, and that makes sense, but it's like proportionally, it doesn't really look that well, and it just looks like it. Yeah, it looks like she. Yeah, it looks like she has. Yeah, it makes her look like she has like a T logo, which I guess would make sense for Titania because it's kind of like a pointed T. It's like down to the belt. But in any case, that's not what she had. I don't know if she had it at a later date, and this is the costume from then during like Secret Wars, like 2 or something, or 1, whatever it was. But you know, not entirely accurate, I guess. But still, a really fun figure and nice details. And they did a very nice job of like engineering, yeah, like the legs specifically, and having to use this unique sculpt that they're not going to use, I think, for any other character. So super, super nicely done, and everything is sculpted in as well. So that's like super well done work. But then Beyonder is a yeah, like it is a home run. Honestly, I love the all white, even though they don't really match all the way up, especially to yeah, especially to the torso. But it doesn't really bother me at all because he's gonna look amazing no matter what. They put him on a perfect body mold for him. They gave him an amazing head sculpt, which is so good. It's so cool. Very, very nice. I kind of wish he was a little bit kind of like more kind of yeah, more kind of like clean cut like him. It's like he has like that more square jaw. His yeah, his smile is more wider. It's more like a sinister kind of like evil kind of cartoonish smile. And this one is just like a happy, regular, cool dude. Like that's just like he's just like, yeah, I'm a cool dude. And it's just like, oh, it's like under all that, it's a maniac who's playing God, essentially. Yeah, really fun and unique Marvel villains to add to the legends. I should definitely get these onto the shelves, especially now because they're newer, they're cooler, so we can kind of start upgrading some stuff and kind of maybe start kicking out some older figures that don't really need a place, that ones I don't really care for that much, the ones that I know, I guess. And that's not the main thing. We'll see. Excuse me. All right. We're going to move all of this. Got another thing of water. All right, we're back. Yeah, really awesome figure. So I guess we can just go ahead, start with our comparisons, as we so often do. So we're just going to keep them right there, just where they are, and we're just going to bring a few. Excuse me. Woo. That one was building up. All right, we're back. Excuse me. Had a pretty big dinner. It's finally coming through. Oh. We'll bring in a couple of our main villains from Secret Wars. One that actually has a unique look that goes with that goes with the Secret Wars specifically, and then just one of the main villains who was in there, and which is one of my favorite figures as well. So first, we will bring in the Secret Wars Doctor Doom, which was in the Marvel Legends, like Earth's Mightiest. It was like the 80th anniversary of like the Avengers or something like that, or like 50th or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. Well, what? Yeah, well, they did 50th. What was it? I can't remember what it was. But just a it's just a thing. And then we also have Doctor Octopus. It's like, well, he was in the Beyond Earth's Mightiest line. He was in a 2-pack with Miss Marvel, where it was the African American lady. I remember. I can't remember it. It's like for me, like she's like my Captain Marvel, essentially, on the shelf, because I just like that classic look. Like, and I haven't been able to pick up the other Captain Marvel figure, so she does for now. It was like, well, we'll see her, and then that's also the. But all right, spoilers. But yeah, like, but there we have the Doctor Doom, where he is more based off of, I think, also of the comics. I think he also did he have this look where he looked more robotic, or was that like kind of like custom art of the toy? Because of course it's known that the toy looked exactly kind of like this, where it was all metal on the arms and legs, but had the green for the kind of like uh, body of the armor, and then has the more classic head sculpt there, and a little more basic, but still pretty cool and a nice size. He does look very kind of like retro next to them. Oh my god, it is on. But yeah, not too shabby. Kind of does show its age a little bit, but you know, I think it's still pretty nice. You always wonder, like, if this is on wrong, but it's clear is how it is on there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can definitely see. Yeah, also like this dude is just a guy. I don't think he's even like figure. He's just a a mad scientist, essentially. But then, speaking of mad scientists, of course, we got Doctor Octopus doing his thing, not really being able to keep his tentacles up. But oh, there one went. They're kind of sensitive because these are actually the tentacles from the animated um, Marvel Legends Doctor Octopus. They don't fit perfectly on this Doc Ock, but they do work pretty well. Of course, they do have the bendy wires, so makes it a little bit easier. To kind of pose with and kind of make work. Oh yeah, really, really cool. A great figure. I really gotta do more with him, but I did do a more recent picture. I think with these claws, like a few months ago, like even probably like last year or something. Oh yeah, definitely last year. But this figure is amazing and was also in Secret Wars, so pretty cool. Get them right behind them. Then well, do we want to? Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, they're just gonna stay on there, at least for now. If we have to move them, I'll have to move them. But for our next comparisons, we have the Lizard, keeping with the Spider-Man villains. This is the retro-carded wave version, because I think that is kind of what he looks like during that time. And we got Magneto. This is the Age of Apocalypse version. It's the only one I got. But he's in the storyline, and I'm like, well, I can't read about Magneto. Of course, I don't have a Professor X, but I don't want to get the whole thing out. I mean, he was standing, but I just don't want to mess with that collection too much. Yeah, it's like it looks too good to move, in my opinion. Or I'm just lazy. I just didn't even think about it. But whatever. We got Magneto. He's really cool. We need a very, very good classic one. Even like on this body mold, I would be perfectly fine with. I'm like, just make this pinless. Make it a little. Oh my god. Beyonder just almost destroyed everything. Jesus Christ. Magneto. Magneto tried to kill Beyonder. Ugh, okay. Okay. I think everything's fine. We don't have anything that's messed up, I think. A little bit. I don't know if that was there before. I think it was there before. Okay. Beyonder's back. He's okay. I promise. We'll get Beyonder. That, yeah. Look at that dude. Look at that. So cool. We get Magneto back here. We get Lizard with his weird face back here. Whoa. Excuse me. All right. Next two, we're gonna do. What do we want to do? I think it's okay. I think it makes more sense if we do these two first. So first, finally, to get some other female representation, and really for scale, honestly. To see, we got yeah, Enchantress, right? I think that's her name. And then also have the Kang the Conqueror. This is the Build-A-Figure wave version. Which one is this? Yeah, which one was this? This wasn't the Quantumania. It was definitely not that. Oh, this was the yeah, was it the Joe Fixit wave, like the Gamerverse wave or something? But yeah, but there's an older female figure. Honestly, a pretty good figure for the time. You can definitely see how different the style has kind of changed with Marvel Legends. But, a really cool figure. And she was in Secret Wars. Didn't know that. But she looks pretty cool. Yeah, for little like effects on there too. I think it works pretty well for her power set. And then Kane looks great next to Beyonder. I gotta actually get this right. Excuse me. Just a little bit. Hold up. We're gonna get this. Or, how is this not working? Okay. Is that better? I think that's better. It feels better. Maybe, well, maybe it's just because I'm trying to fit everything now. Get over there. Okay. Sorry if I keep overdoing it. I'm just going crazy. But here's Kang. Looking pretty cool with all the baggy clothing. Unique little guy. Well, not a little guy. He's a big guy. Well, probably not as big as other guys that we'll see it very soon. But still, pretty powerful. But then, next we got Ultron. Here, this one is one of like the earlier kind of Marvel Legends kind of waves where they've been putting out bangers. I can't remember which exact one this was, but this was like before like they did the newer, I think, Quantumania ones, where they use the same the body mold. They have a different kind of head sculpt and design kind of there and coloring detail. So this one is that original one. Yeah, their original new Ultron essentially. He looks perfect, in my opinion. He's the one I use. Like I would probably get those ones, but if I can get those for cheap, those would be like my little like my Ultron army dudes. I think it would just make sense. But then also, I'm getting with another classic villain. Two, we got Claw. He was in Secret Wars, apparently, and apparently the both of these guys were in there too. It's like both Ultron and Claw were. That's why they get to the comparison. But pretty cool. Nice little dude. Probably would need an upgrade on him at some point, but this Ultron, I think he's fine. I think he's good as he is. Maybe I do want to move right here. In this thing. There we go. Okay. So then our last villains that we'll be looking at for comparison, kind of one very, let's say, one iconic villain. It's like, and then one kind of like, just really cool looking villain who's huge. We have, what is his name? I just remembered. I don't know his name at all. But he's a part of the Wrecking Crew who were in Secret Wars. He's the only one that I have. Because this guy, Juggernaut, this is a different guy. Is this Bulldozer? Is that who he is? Because they were all like construction guys. Or something like that. Yeah, like it's not Demolition. I keep thinking, like a Demolition. But it isn't that. I don't think what it is. But then our next figure, who uses the same body mold essentially, is our Dormammu. I don't think he was in Secret Wars at all, but I just wanted him to get a comparison with the same kind of body mold parts, specifically on the arms and then with the legs there. I probably have to get Red Skull to get a little maybe more closer to the look there, but even then I know it's coming. So yeah, and it's pretty close anyway, so I don't mind it too much. And I love this Dormammu. He's like all powerful. He's just so cool. He is kind of small, but it works. You can do some fourth perspective stuff if you want to do your pictures. So it works. It works. And he looks kind of huge back there, anyways. But not as big as this guy. This guy's a literal giant. Maybe we'll try to get Dormammu back there. And we'll get Claw over here. We can get Ultron back here. And Enchantress over there. They're all kind of in that little space together. So we can have a little bit more room to look at the rest of our comparisons. What are we at? What's our time? 10:03. We're doing pretty good. All right, hey, we're 2 hours in, boys. Are we? What's our time? 2 hours and 1 minute. Wow. So yeah, so now getting on with our heroes. In our Marvel Legends line. And so these are figures that are ones that are actually going to be released again in this line, like the same kind of basic mold, but then with different looks. So where we have our Captain America and Iron Man, both of these are the Marvel Legends 20th anniversary figures. Excuse me as I mess with my feet. A lot of my Legends really just have 4 feet quality, but look at those guys. Captain America is still pretty good. I do like the darker, I do like this darker blue, and I do like it without the actual, like, the band around it. I do like it without that, where it's just the top is just plain. And I do like the the shading that they do on here. I think it looks super well done, especially like in that pose now. That looks so good. A great Captain America figure, but I do kind of want to still pick up the Secret Wars Captain America, because he's in that lighter blue and has 2 different head sculpts. Has like an angry one, and I think it has a because this one's serious, and he has a smiling one, yeah. And I won't say no to a smiling Captain America. It's kind of like Superman, I want to see my 2 kind of like American the ideological be happy, but right now they're not. They can't be happy. He's so serious. He's just like, man, this sucks. It sucks, right? It just sucks. And you know what? I gotta do it all. And I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird political thing, I guess. But this cap is pretty good. But I do really always love kind of like just seeing like a happy Captain America. I just like just seeing like my big strong guys being happy. So I guess that's the reasoning. But they just got cool smiles, and they're just like, camera, take your picture. Yeah, it's kind of like a promotional, I guess, kind of thing is what I think of. They're kind of cheesy, but they're like, okay, it's like, well, they're like genuinely actually probably nice people, because no, yeah, because it's like because one beats up Nazis, and then the other one, which is Superman, he's right there, you can see him. He's just kind of like, I don't know. He's just very, kind of like genuinely just wants to help. He just literally has these powers. He's just from another planet, but he's pretty chill. He lives on a farm. Well, in some cases. Like in other cases, he lives in the city still because he works for the Daily Planet. But, all that stuff. Bro, look at those guys, especially at that Iron Man. That Iron Man is so beautiful. I don't think I need another Iron Man. I love that Iron Man. But the Cap, we can see. He looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, and then this is the Sam Wilson Captain America shield, the first release. Perfect shield. Perfect shield for use for to use for this Cap and probably to use for the new Cap. Even though I probably would want the shield a little bit brighter, but we'll just have to see. Because he comes with a broken one, so this one can probably have the broken one or something, or he can be like Steve Rogers, where he's like unmasked and he has the broken shield and everything. That would be cool. Well, guess we have an idea. We got custom material, but we'll get Cap here. We'll get Iron Man here. Next, more of the iterations and the characters who are in the line, but we'll save the last one for this next coming one, because I do want to do the basic versions. Some of these characters first before I do any special ones, but we'll see. So yeah, so first we'll get in Wolverine, the CT Toys brown suit Wolverine. Of course, he's a little bit smaller than he was when this was originally the Mafex body, but this is still really good, and I love this figure so much. It's just so well done. Looks so cool, especially for being a third party kind of made item. So really nice. And then have the Marvel Legends Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends figure. I will admit, you can probably see plastic is kind of marred on his thighs a bit. I did try to fix it with some heat. It didn't really work that well. It just kind of smoothed everything out, but yeah. So my Spider-Man a little messed up. It's like, and he is my favorite Spider-Man. He's my favorite. I'm kind of devastated. No Spider-Man. Who's anyone with Spider-Man? But I keep playing with this thing, so that's probably why. But it's just a really fun figure. But there's our Spider-Man. It looks so cool. Look at him. It's Spider-Man. Okay. And then, and then the CT Toys Wolverine looking pretty cool. Of course, he's short. I'll put him right there. Maybe get you can see that arm? Yeah, you kind of do. Arm down just a bit. Don't look 100% awkward. So, pretty decent. All right, so the next we got, of course, the black suit Spider-Man. I kind of tried to get him into the, the iconic pose. Didn't really get him. And then we also have the 20th anniversary. Was it 20th anniversary No, no, because this is the Sky Cycle, where it was beyond Earth's mightiest. I don't know how many years it is. Anniversary. But yeah, but this is the Hawkeye, but with the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Punk Frog. One who had the bow and arrow kit. I gave him that. He doesn't want to hold the arrow, but there he is. Hopefully it looks decent. We're just gonna put this in the quiver. And he's got like 4 different arrows. I'm just a dumbass. Okay. Get in there. Okay. There we go. And you can see the thing on his back there. It's kind of sitting up high. It works. I think it looks cool. Oh. But yeah, the cool classic Hawkeye. And they kind of match together with the purples. Pretty nice. Then, of course, our Spider-Man. Actually looking pretty sweet. A little dusty. He's just been on the shelf just looking cool. Love this figure, but can't wait to open up the new Secret Wars Black Suit Spider-Man, because that one is probably going to be amazing. Because, you know, it's this Spider-Man in this color. What do you mean? What? Of course I'm going to buy that. Why would I not buy that? Do we want to just put him in the middle? Because he is the next one, technically, in our line. Kind of like, I think, like the biggest thing that kind of happened in Secret Wars that everyone remembers, which is all about Peter getting the symbiote by that point. Like, when everyone started to care about it. You've been getting mad. What the heck? There we go. There we go. All right, so moving on with our comparisons. Get some more female representation, but here on the hero side, we have the Marvel Legends, West Coast Avengers, Spider-Woman figure. Kind of like the same, I guess, kind of like, yeah, the situation with these. It's like where these are kind of like newer sculpts. I think this is the Shriek body. Could have used, yeah, like some butterfly joints with hers would have been nice. But, you know, it still works pretty well, and it's kind of the same thing when it comes to Titania anyway, so kind of matches style-wise, but it looked pretty cool, and this is always a great look for Spider-Woman, in my opinion. It's one of my favorites. It's the head sculpt is pretty good too, but mine is all painted all crooked. Not really the best. So, it sucks. But anyway. But then we also have Monica Rambeau. That's her name. It was Captain Marvel during this time. Was in the Secret Wars. But she, as for all of these, probably except for like Dormammu, I think. Bar from him, you're pretty clear. Doing pretty good. What's her name? Yeah, Monica Rambeau. Is that right? I think I'm right. It just kind of clicked. Just sounds right. Wonder Woman out here. Well, we probably want to do them more forward than anything. Since we got some big guys coming. Yes, we got big heroes. Kind of like the biggest I got. Well, not all the biggest, but a few. Okay. Captain Marvel. Thank you. Maybe we do. Hold up. Recalibrate. Do this to me. This over there. You inward. A little better. Okay. So then, moving on, doing another Avenger. We got Thor. Of course, mine is the Ragnarok version that has the red eyes. Of course, you can't really see him because he's another tall boy. But looks pretty cool. And then going for another kind of crazy haired, kind of smiley dude. Also getting involved with our X-Men and kind of looks of them. Yeah, that I want to get them. We got Nightcrawler here. Looking pretty cool. Of course, I have them all crouched up, but I think it looks pretty neat next to all these figures, especially next to Beyonder too. I think they kind of match up pretty perfectly. Then we'll get Thor back here. Then we're gonna get a Nightcrawler over here. The next, we're gonna do Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, and Johnny Blaze, the Human Torch. Of course, these are the, excuse me, Walgreens exclusive versions. But they're, I think, like their first time really doing the Fantastic Four after they were like really getting their style down, really doing as well as they could. Of course, this was before they were doing the face printing, but even still, like these were pretty good figures for the time. Of course, we knew that the faces weren't still amazing. They're still kind of basic. It's like, yeah, but this Human Torch is actually pretty well done. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's actually pretty neatly made. I do like it. I do like it a lot. And then this Reed Richards isn't too bad with the long arms, but nothing too exciting. But it's just your Fantastic Four, and it's just nice to have them on the shelf like that. So it's just perfect. And there, we'll get Reed. there. All right. So the next will be kind of all of our big guys. I'm going to do first with, what's her name? Titania, or Titia, or Titan, or Titan, Titan, Titana, bro. Titana. Okay. So our first comparison is going to be with the X-Men's Colossus. This is his kind of like his classic kind of 90s version where he's in the all metal and has a little costume and everything. It looks pretty cool. I don't know if his costume was like this during this era. The one I got, the one I got on my shelf, the one I like, so he's here. And then another big guy is the Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive thing, because he was also there in Secret Wars, as was Colossus. As were most of these characters, except for Dormammu. Dormammu was not involved in any way, apparently. Well, based on my research. But there's the thing. He looks pretty cool. He looks awesome. Look at that. He humongous. He's a thick boy. There, boy, he's there. Okay. Sorry. Excuse me. I like quote memes from the internet. Loss is back here. But now, I would just even make room just for him. So we're gonna have to see how we're gonna do this, but we're gonna get our biggest Avenger in our last comparison for the night. The Marvel Legends 20th anniversary Hulk. I do not have the maximum, just to get it out there. Don't want to pay the price, essentially, and also I just don't need it. I got this Hulk. I'm okay with it. I do like that they have like the soft chest. I think that makes sense. But you know, I'm still good with this. And these guys, they look good with Hulk. Hulk looks super cool. I really like him. She's like, oh, I'm like, what you say to Hulk? Like, bruh. Yeah, he looks super cool. I really like him. Oh. We'll get a Hulk out of here. We'll go to the back. Then it's Colossus. Thing. At least from height wise. So yeah. There is all of our comparisons. with all of our Marvel Legends figures, all the ones that we have chosen to look at with these guys. So yeah, nice little 2 hours and 25 minute stream. Hope you all have enjoyed. I have had a lot of fun opening some new Legends and getting all these cool figures out. A lot of these are actually really good figures, kind of underrated, but you know, some have their flaws, and then even like these newer ones, they have some pretty big flaws. But in the cases, like they're really fun, they're really cool, and they're very unique characters that I don't think we're really gonna get anytime soon after this. So it's nice to get some classic kind of looks and designs, and yeah, and these characters in general. So pretty cool and really nice. So yeah, hope y'all have enjoyed the live stream, and if you have, you know what to do. Be sure to hit the like button, comment what you want to see on the channel. If you want to see more things on the live stream, if you want to see something, recommend something, or suggest stuff for videos, or just go check it out. Go check out the channel and leave a comment and a like on everything. And the big one, subscribe. Subscribe, please. It'd be very cool if you subscribe. As I said at this at the top of this stream, do want to try to get to 500 by the end of the year. So that would be really cool. To really get to. So yeah, just want to grow this channel. Want to show more of this with more people, even if I don't have really that many people here live with me right now, as it sometimes is, because I guess it's just the algorithm. Weird, but in any case, these are really fun figures. Hope y'all have enjoyed. And also be sure to check out the Instagram, where we also have the 3D looks of these guys, but we also have them on the shorts too, because why wouldn't we? Because it's the YouTube thing, because it makes sense, because I'm rewarding you guys for watching the video, so you can watch this. If you don't want to watch this, you can go watch that, because those get way more views somehow. So it's kind of crazy. I don't know how it works, but there's an algorithm. I just post what I want to post. But yeah. Oh. I think I'm going to head on out, so yeah, I'm trying to think if I got a closeout thing. I don't know if I got a phrase. You know what? I think I got one. Okay. Do good, be cool, be amazing. I think that's the one. Be amazing. Be you, be amazing, have fun. And yeah, have a good night. Good